Dear students, in this video, I'm going to give you the tips how to give the presentation on a particular topic. So these are the slides I'm going to show you. So first of all, the topic is Sacred Grove in Himachal Pradesh and Biodiversity Conservation. So this is the abstract. You can give in brief the starting of the topic. You can give just the start of topic, and in a nutshell you can give the summary with the keywords. So in overview, I would like to cover from introduction, aim, methodology, then discussion, conclusion, and at last giving the references. So sacred groves are considered as sacred natural sites as per the definition of IUCN. Sacred groves are the patches of forest that are left untouched by the local inhabitants which harbor rich biodiversity. You can find rich biodiversity in the sacred grove. So several plants including medicinal plants, animals and many threatened species are conserved in the sacred groves. So sacred groves are very unique as they give the long-standing information about the beliefs, experiences, tradition and practices of indigenous people, religious conservation. These are the religious conservation and resource use. These also conserve the medicinal, agriculture and ecological knowledge and spiritual expressions also. So there are some management ideas and practices also which we can follow and which are very prevalent in the sacred grove. So these are protected by the local people due to their cultural and religious beliefs and taboos. The importance of sacred grove in nature conservation has been increased manifold after the declaration of Convention on Biological Diversity. So this paper briefly reviews the studies on sacred groves in Himachal Pradesh, particularly in Kullu district, that could provide knowledge and aware the people about the importance of sacred grove in biodiversity conservation. So aim of this paper is to document the sacred groves in Himachal Pradesh, particularly in Kullu district, that could provide knowledge and to aware the people about the importance of sacred grove in biodiversity conservation. In methodology, second information based on many articles was searched out. Then you can just give the discussion. In discussion, this is a map showing the Himachal Pradesh and showing the Kullu district and the studied area. So sacred groves possess a great heritage of diverse gene pool of many forest species, which having the socio-religious attachment, they are ecologically and genetically very important. So they play very important role in water conservation also. And sacred groves are important reservoirs of biodiversity. They play a major role in the environmental protection. They control air pollution, cool the atmosphere, increase the soil fertility, harbor various organisms, and are also an integral part of social, religious, ecological, and environmental traditions. So here are the sacred groves of Kullu district. There are a total number of 109 sacred groves documented in Anni, Banjar, Kullu, Nagar, and Nirmand area. So in the diagram you can see Anni having the 6, Banjar 26, Kullu 42, Nagar 27, and Nirmand 8. And this is the histogram showing the highest and lowest altitude sacred grove. So highest altitude sacred grove is Jagdam Rishi and lowest altitude is Devta Chambu, and largest area is of Gautam Rishi, which is about 250 biga, and smallest area is of Renuka Mata, which is about 1.5 biswa. So sacred grove in Himachal Pradesh are also called as Devvan or Devta ka Jangal. So these are dedicated to a particular deity. So you can see here in the pics, this is a photograph of Mata Hadimba, which is surrounding. This is surrounded by the thick forest. So this is also a sacred grove. And this is the Triloki Nath temple in the Lahore district. So this is also surrounded by a thick forest, and this is also a sacred grove. So Devvan These are in Kullu Valley, they are the integral part of Devta system, so which is a unique socio-cultural religious institution of the region. So each cluster of village in Kullu has its own deity. So these are called the Devta. It is estimated that there are 300 Devta in Kullu Valley. So they may be in naturistic and animistic forms such as Nags, snakes, Vanshiras and Jognis, etc. So specific forests adjacent to villages are said to belong to the respective Devta, and these forests are called Devvan. So most of the groups are managed by the temple committee, and temple committee comprises of Kardar, Pujari, Bhandari and Kur. So temples are usually located inside the sacred grove, which are surrounded by thick forest. So no one is allowed to cut the trees or even extract dry leaves from that area. So there are many groups in which human entry is also restricted. So there are in Kullu Devan, there are generally Himalayan moist temperate forest, and main trees are Deodara, Kail, Oak, etc. So there are importance of Devan in biodiversity conservation. So there are some kind of rules restricting the access to resources and forbidding them through religious beliefs, rituals and social convention. So which in fact help in biodiversity conservation, as trees have been protected or conserved through religious taboos, values and practice. There are a number of plants, animals and forests and lakes that are regarded as sacred, and no exploitation is carried out there. There are small forest patches which are dedicated to local deities and which are under the governance of village deity. So people are not allowed to enter these forest area for human activities. So sacred groves or trees serve as a home for birds and mammals, and hence they indirectly help in conservation of living organisms. So people also believe in trees to be the abode of gods and ancestral spirits. Rules and customs are framed to endure their protection. So these rules varied from group to group, but often prohibited the felling of trees, collection of any material from the forest floor, and killing of animals. Hunting and logging are strictly prohibited. But nowadays, there are some kinds of degradation in sacred groves. So there are mainly causes of degradation of sacred groves, such as changes in people attitude and socio-cultural activities, practices, erosion of religious beliefs and traditional values, rapid urbanization, human impact on sacred grove, developmental activities, increase in population pressures, habitat degradation, forest fragmentation, encroachment, and exploitation of the resources. So many challenges are faced now for the conservation of sacred grove also, as with the passage of time there is degradation of sacred groves due to change in religious beliefs, taboos, and people's perception towards them.